Well, um, sometimes on this channel, it would be really easy for me just to ignore bigger things and talk about other things I think were important which are going on right now in the UK. For example, I really today was thinking, oh, it's a Friday, not much is happening. I've got a couple of other stories, but I might save them till next week. Maybe a bit of something to talk about, the Good Morning Walk, which will be happening tomorrow morning. But, but, you have to remember, as always, you have to remember that the Tory party are in charge, and as much as we would like to think that they are somewhat of a intelligent group of people, sometimes they really do put everything you think about what you would think a competent politician to the test, because the ERG, the ERG are at it again. Because, oh my. And I think we'll jump. We'll just jump straight into it, because I've got comments. I've got comments aplenty about this. So before we do jump into that, please do remember to hit that like and share button before we go on. It does help out the channel lots. And also down below there's a link to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, well, buy me a coffee. And thank you to all those people who do support me that way. So on with this, and of course, what I think probably everybody else in British politics would probably be talking about today, is what the ERG have done. And again, this is very worrying, because the ERG are still an incredibly potent force within the parliamentary Conservative Party, as well as the Conservative Party itself. They have huge influence over the party, and this could have huge consequences, like further down the line, because now that what we're talking about, why they're upset at the moment, but this could have huge consequences to Brexit and essentially Boris's withdrawal deal. So this comes from the London Economic, and the title is, "This was the deal they demanded. Dismay as Tory Eurosceptics demand the protocol is ditched." And of course, that's the Irish protocol, which basically means, for those of you who may or might know, the Irish protocol means that essentially there is a border down the Irish Sea which splits off Northern Ireland from the rest of the United Kingdom. And of course, they're not happy with this. But why aren't they happy with this? You might ask. As was just said there, it must be stressed. It must be absolutely 100% stressed. This is exactly, 100% exactly what the ERG voted for, knowing this is what would happen. They were told explicitly this is what would happen. But here we go. So, Tory Brexiteers have called on Boris Johnson to scrap the arrangements with Northern Ireland, which he agreed with Brussels. The European Research Group, or the ERG, has published a report which concluded that the Northern Ireland Protocol has a profound and negative effect. I would love to know what those effects are, but I'm sure we'll be hearing from them. The protocol was designed by the EU and the UK to avoid a hard border on the island of Ireland. But let's dispatch that notion there, because that is, I think, actually wrong. It wasn't designed by the EU and the UK. It was solely designed by the UK to get around the idea that, all of the UK would have to stay in the customs union while trying to keep an invisible border on the island of Ireland, And the only way to do that would be to completely stay in the customs union and single market. But of course, the Brexiteers didn't want that. And of course, they were warned of the consequences of what would happen because of that. So, it achieves, by this effect, creating a regulatory and customs border in the Irish Sea with goods imported to Northern Ireland from the rest of the UK, subject to a range of new processes. This has caused some disruption to trade since it came into effect on the 31st of December, and those difficulties could intensify significantly, not only just there, but around the ports, around the UK, on the 1st of April. What an April's Fool Day that's going to be. I can guarantee you we're going to have a lot more stories about problems at ports come April time. When the grace period currently limiting the bureaucracy applied to imported supermarket goods ends. The ERG report said that the European Union's bungled attempt to suspend parts of the agreement during the rout over the coronavirus vaccine supplies in January, a move which was hastily abandoned by Brussels, created a unique political opportunity to renegotiate the deal. But this is the deal that you wanted, guys. I thought this was what you wanted. Apparently not now. And again, this wasn't really a bungled attempt. This was, as we said at the time, very much a maneuver to try and protect vaccine supplies, which were currently at that time reaching the UK. They did not want a lot of the vaccine supplies being sent out of Europe when their current, shall we say, fulfillment orders hadn't been yet fulfilled. So, the document said that the UK government should tell Brussels that it now intends to pass a new law regardless of the trade derision and societal pressures created by the protocol. I worry what this new law is going to be. It continues, Mr. Johnson should make, quote, a generous offer to help meet the concerns of the EU around the Northern Ireland border, suggesting a mutual enforcement would ensure exporters abide by the rules on the other side of the frontier. So, hold on. So there, if I've read that right, that essentially means that we want to run the current Irish border, which before Brexit was perfectly fine because we were members of the European Union, we were in the single market, we were in the customs union, so everyone was playing by the rules. You now want to say, doesn't matter what you cross the border, just as long as you play by the rules, you'll be fine. Essentially, they're asking the border now to be run by what seems to be the honour system. They want people to do like the Boy Scouts swear and swearsies that they won't, sell products that are outlawed in the EU and vice versa into the UK. Take us all the way back a couple of years ago, and I said some of the proposals that the ERG were pushing at that time would turn Northern Ireland into the world's first state-sanctioned smuggler state. We are now seeing a return to those proposals and a return to that bizarre reality that the ERG live in. Anyway, it continues. That would mean a reciprocal guarantee by each party that it will not prevent the exports of goods that do not meet the other side's regulatory requirements. The ERG chairman, Mark Francois, said, "We will no doubt be told that the EU will never renegotiate the protocol, just as we were repeatedly assured that they would never reopen the withdrawal agreement. or indeed abandon the dreadful backstop, which the protocol eventually replaced when they subsequently did both. That's not how that happened, Mark. Again, that's not how that happened. That's not how that happened. He said the protocol has to go, or we will not let matters rest there. The Democratic Unionist Party has already demanded the scrapping of the protocol. Following the meeting of the UK-EU Joint Committee overseeing the mechanism on Wednesday, First Minister Arlene Foster said the protocol had completely ruptured the flow of goods from Great Britain to Northern Ireland. She called for the UK to take unilateral action, saying that Mr Johnson should, quote, step up and protect the United Kingdom's internal market. In a joint statement after the virtual meeting on Wednesday, Cabinet Minister Office Minister Michael Gove and European Commission Vice President Marcos Solovac said that both sides were committed to the proper implementation of the protocol. As they've said, it's going to stay. They're not going to get rid of it, despite this now ridiculous push, because what do you replace it with? You have to replace it with something. You can't just say, well, we'll say, we'll let people give it a try and, we'll trust them. Again, you would turn Northern Ireland into a state-sanctioned smuggler's paradise. Not a good idea. Anyway, the shadow Northern Ireland Secretary, Lewis Haig, said the ERG had voted for Mr Johnson's Brexit deal, which included the Northern Ireland Protocol, but now wants to create further instability. The ERG, and this cannot be stressed enough, voted for this, she said. This was the deal they demanded for the Brexit they chose. Now they would rather tear things down and provoke further instability than even show a hint of responsibility. And that's again, once again, it's Brexit in a nutshell. Brexiteers refusing to take responsibility for the mess they made. And here we are yet again. And I have said, and I have warned, that we've been hearing rumours now from the DUP. They want to push the Conservatives to get rid of the Northern Ireland Protocol. We have now seen the ERG saying that they want to get rid of this. If they get rid of this, how do they solve the Northern Ireland border issue? Because what was proposed there does not solve the Northern Ireland border issue. Something which, again, wind back to 2016 when this issue was brought up, where we were told by the Brexiteers this wouldn't be a problem. And look, it's now a massive problem. So, I really do despair. I really, honestly do despair. But that's the idiots who are currently in charge and who have a unrivaled amount of power within the Conservative Parliamentary Party. It is generally worrying that they have that amount of power. But as always, before we go, please do remember to hit that like and share button. And also down below, there is a link to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, buy me a coffee. And thank you to all those people who do support me either of those two ways. And as always, we'll see you all next time.